Welcome to our exploration of the American Revolution, a pivotal moment in history that forever changed the course of nations. In this video, we'll delve into the key battles and turning points that shaped the fight for independence and laid the foundation for the birth of a new nation. The American Revolution, which spanned from 1775 to 1783, was born out of a desire for liberty and self-governance. Colonists in the 13 American colonies grew increasingly discontent with British rule, leading to widespread resistance and eventually armed conflict. As tensions reached a boiling point, the fledgling colonies found themselves pitted against the might of the British Empire, sparking a struggle for independence that would test the resolve and courage of all involved. The Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4, 1776, served as a rallying cry for freedom and a declaration of defiance against tyranny. With these words, the colonists declared their intention to break free from British rule and forge their own destiny. Join us as we journey through the epic battles and decisive moments that defined the American Revolution and ultimately led to the birth of a new nation. Subscribe now to uncover the untold stories of bravery, sacrifice, and triumph that shaped America's fight for independence. The American Revolution erupted into armed conflict on April 19, 1775, with the battles of Lexington and Concord. British troops, marching to seize colonial weapons and supplies, encountered colonial militia at Lexington Green. Amidst the uncertainty and tension, a shot was fired. The shot heard round the world, igniting the first skirmish of the Revolutionary War. Although it remains unclear who fired the first shot, the clash at Lexington sparked a chain reaction of violence that reverberated throughout the colonies. The British troops proceeded to Concord, where colonial militia had stockpiled weapons and ammunition. Faced with determined resistance, the British found themselves outnumbered and outmaneuvered. In the ensuing chaos, the British were forced to retreat, facing relentless harassment and ambushes from colonial forces along the way. The battles of Lexington and Concord marked the beginning of the Revolutionary War and galvanized colonial resolve to fight for independence. The battles of Lexington and Concord were a pivotal turning point in the American Revolution, demonstrating the colonists' determination to resist British oppression and defend their rights. Subscribe now to learn more about the key battles and turning points of the Revolutionary War. After the battles of Lexington and Concord, colonial militia besieged the city of Boston, where British forces had retreated. The Siege of Boston, which began in April 1775, marked a critical phase in the early stages of the Revolutionary War. Colonial forces, under the command of General George Washington, surrounded Boston and effectively cut off British supply lines, trapping the British Army within the city. The siege dragged on for months, with sporadic skirmishes and artillery exchanges between the two sides. British troops endured harsh conditions and dwindling supplies, while colonial forces maintained pressure on the besieged city. The Siege of Boston served as a crucial test of colonial resolve and military capabilities. It also provided an opportunity for General Washington to demonstrate his leadership and organizational skills as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. In March 1776, after nearly a year of siege, British forces under General William Howe evacuated Boston, sailing away from the city and effectively ending the siege. The successful liberation of Boston was a significant victory for the colonists and boosted morale throughout the fledgling nation. The Siege of Boston demonstrated the colonists' ability to challenge British authority and effectively wage war against the might of the British Empire. Subscribe now to explore more pivotal moments in the American Revolution. The Battle of Bunker Hill, fought on June 17, 1775, near Boston, Massachusetts, was one of the earliest and most significant battles of the Revolutionary War. Despite its name, the majority of the fighting actually took place on nearby Breed's Hill. Colonial forces, under the command of General Israel Putnam and Colonel William Prescott, constructed fortifications atop Breed's Hill overlooking Boston. Their goal was to prevent the British from advancing further into the surrounding countryside. British General William Howe launched a frontal assault on the colonial positions, leading his troops in a determined charge up the hill. Despite suffering heavy casualties from the withering fire of the colonial militia, the British eventually succeeded in capturing the hill. The Battle of Bunker Hill was a bloody and brutal affair, with both sides sustaining significant losses. However, the colonial forces inflicted heavy casualties on the British, demonstrating their ability to stand toe-to-toe with one of the world's most formidable armies. Although the British ultimately claimed victory at Bunker Hill, their losses were considerable, and the battle served as a wake-up call for both sides. It showed that the colonists were willing and able to fight for their freedom, while also highlighting the challenges faced by the British in quelling the rebellion. The Battle of Bunker Hill galvanized colonial resolve and inspired patriots throughout the colonies to join the cause of independence. It was a turning point in the Revolutionary War, signaling to the world that the colonists were prepared to fight for their liberty at any cost. In the summer of 1776, the Second Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to debate the question of American independence. On July 2, the Congress voted in favor of independence, and 2 days later, on July 4, they adopted the Declaration of Independence. Authored primarily by Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence proclaimed the colonies' right to self-government and declared their independence from British rule. It outlined the principles of liberty, equality, and unalienable rights that would serve as the foundation of the new American nation. The adoption of the Declaration of Independence marked a defining moment in American history. It was a bold statement of defiance against tyranny and oppression, and it galvanized support for the revolutionary cause both at home and abroad. Throughout the colonies, the Declaration of Independence was read aloud to enthusiastic crowds, inspiring patriots to join the fight for freedom and independence. Its powerful words resonated with people from all walks of life, igniting a spirit of unity and determination. The Declaration of Independence was not only a symbolic declaration of America's independence but also a practical document that laid the groundwork for the new nation. It set forth a vision of government by the people and for the people, establishing principles that continue to guide the United States to this day. As we celebrate the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, let us remember the sacrifices made by those who fought for the freedoms we enjoy today. Join us as we continue to explore the key battles and turning points of the American Revolution. In the bitter cold of December 25, 1776, General George Washington and his Continental Army embarked on a daring and desperate mission, the crossing of the icy Delaware River. With morale low and enlistments expiring, Washington sought to strike a decisive blow against the British forces occupying New Jersey. Despite treacherous conditions and the risk of discovery by the enemy, Washington and his men pressed on, crossing the Delaware under cover of darkness and braving freezing temperatures and howling winds. Early the next morning, on December 26, Washington's troops launched a surprise attack on the Hessian mercenaries stationed at Trenton. In a stunning display of military prowess, they overwhelmed the enemy garrison, capturing nearly 1,000 prisoners and securing a much-needed victory. The Battle of Trenton was a turning point in the Revolutionary War, boosting colonial morale and revitalizing the American cause. It demonstrated Washington's leadership and strategic acumen and renewed hope among patriots that victory was within reach. The success of the crossing of the Delaware and the Battle of Trenton breathed new life into the American Revolution. It reinvigorated the Continental Army, inspired renewed enlistments, and dealt a psychological blow to the British forces, who had underestimated the determination and resolve of the American patriots. The crossing of the Delaware and the Battle of Trenton stand as enduring symbols of American resilience and determination in the face of adversity. They remind us that even in the darkest hours, courage and perseverance can lead to victory. The Battle of Saratoga, fought from September 19 to October 7, 1777, was a pivotal turning point in the American Revolution. It marked a significant victory for the Continental Army and is often considered the turning point of the war. The battle unfolded in upstate New York, as British General John Burgoyne's army attempted to advance southward from Canada to Albany. However, they were met with fierce resistance from American forces under the command of General Horatio Gates. At Saratoga, American troops, led by Generals Horatio Gates and Benedict Arnold, skillfully utilized the terrain to their advantage, inflicting heavy casualties on the British forces and forcing them into a desperate situation. After weeks of intense fighting and with his army surrounded and low on supplies, General Burgoyne was forced to surrender to General Gates on October 17, 1777. The surrender of Burgoyne's army was a significant blow to British morale and a major victory for the American cause. The Battle of Saratoga had far-reaching consequences, both on the battlefield and on the international stage. It convinced the French government to openly support the American cause, leading to an alliance that would greatly aid the colonists in their fight for independence. The Battle of Saratoga demonstrated the resilience and determination of the American patriots and showcased their ability to stand up to one of the most powerful military forces in the world. It was a turning point in the war that helped pave the way for ultimate victory. The American Revolution culminated in the signing of the Treaty of Paris on September 3, 1783, officially ending the war and securing American independence from Great Britain. Negotiated by American diplomats Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay, the treaty recognized the sovereignty of the United States and established its borders. The Treaty of Paris marked the formal recognition of the United States as an independent nation by the British government and other European powers. It ended over 8 years of conflict and paved the way for the establishment of a new democratic republic in North America. The signing of the Treaty of Paris was met with jubilation and celebration across the fledgling nation. Bells rang, cannons fired, and crowds filled the streets as Americans rejoiced in their hard-won victory and newfound freedom. The American Revolution had succeeded in achieving what many had deemed impossible: the creation of a nation founded on the principles of liberty, democracy, and self-determination. The United States of America had been born. As we reflect on the legacy of the American Revolution, we are reminded of the sacrifices made by those who fought and died for the cause of freedom. Their bravery and perseverance paved the way for the nation we know today, and their spirit continues to inspire us to strive for a more perfect union. Join us in commemorating the heroes of the American Revolution and honoring the ideals for which they fought. Subscribe now to explore more stories of courage, sacrifice, and triumph from America's past.